Good morning, everybody. It's John for Father's Rights and my anti-human trafficking YouTube channel. It's 4:53 a.m., May 11th, 2025. Just doing a check-in to keep everybody informed about my situation. Um, my situation, my blood pressure has been up. I have to get treated for that. It's really not that high, but there's a reason why it's so high. It's because I live in New York City. And as you all know, my saga is my wife's family has been involved in trafficking a child, and I'm worried that they'll, traffic my child as well because my wife is unwitting and she's taking part in something she has no knowledge of. I don't think she's capable of having a wider understanding what actually happened within her own family. When a 14-year-old is impregnated by a 29-year-old, you're supposed to call the cops, not marry her off, and then have your grandchildren exposed to the father who actually raped the mother. And what I find very extremely disturbing, this woman also took her granddaughter and got her into plays on Broadway. And the same person that raped her child now has access to all those children that are in those Broadway plays because the parents have no idea what this guy has done in the past. And he's befriending all of those kids and those families. To him, it's an all-you-can-eat buffet. So that's my warning to everybody out there. If anybody's watching my videos, this guy is now in the midst of a whole bunch of children because you guys are taking too damn long and you're picking on stuff, who's believable and who's not believable, instead of just looking at the evidence that's clearly right there I provided and go and arrest this guy before some other unfortunate child is dragged into a white van. Speaking of that, my videos did have an impact. I was contacted by somebody who claims allegedly that Wand messed with his daughter as well. And I would say he's a little bit more or less than civilized than I am. And he stopped talking to me. Okay? Uh, he stopped calling, and there's only one thing on his mind, and the way it was explained to me is that they harmed his family, so he's gonna harm theirs in the worst way possible, and they're looking for him, and they got a good idea where he is, because I unwittingly told him what happened and how it happened with another victim of his. I'm really worried about my daughter because this guy seems the type that will seek out blood for blood vengeance and go to the family barbecue and act irregardless of who's there. In other words, everybody goes. And I'm really starting to worry for my daughter's own safety. Now, CPS sat on their hands when my wife was neglecting my child. They never came over and talked to me why I'm so worried about my child when I found out something in May of 2023. Neither were the police. I had a breakthrough. I had to go to the DA's office directly, and I finally got something to be done. But I'm more worried about my daughter getting hit in some kind of crossfire, especially in my wife's family where a female's been murdered already, and 2/3 of her mother's children and her aunt's children are no longer of this earth. They've been institutionalized, some of them. The children don't know who their father is. Uh, they let the children be raped by an adult. They're stealing money left and right and running all kinds of scams. And yet, for some reason, the only people that listen from me from the DA's office and CPS and the police department of New York City did absolutely nothing. They were more interested in enforcing an illegally gained order of protection rather than listening to anything I had to say. Why did you break the order of protection? Some of those police know why. They talk to me. They know why. Some of them were helping me. I'll give you that. But it was clearly indicated to me their hands were being tied where they could really help me. Now, unfortunately, I guess something really bad has to happen to a bunch of people because they sat on their hands. And this goes to the judges that they changed the laws. When somebody puts an order of protection in you, against you, you're supposed to have your day in court and say, hey, I don't deserve this order of protection against me. It's based on falsehood. And it's up to them. It's the burden of proof that the person who's putting the order of protection has to prove that you harm them or you're a danger to them. And they cannot. But the judges aren't worried about that. The judges are worried about if there's a possibility they make a wrong judgment, they might be held responsible. Well, judge, that's your whole job. You let a killer loose and they kill somebody else, you're responsible. You got to give each person a hearing to find out what's going on and stop making it one-sided and just listening to women's services feminist babble. Now I got to sit here and worry about, is this guy going to go to the Guzman Cueto family picnic or go over their house and maybe my daughter might be visiting and God knows what's going to happen? And that's where we're at, people. In New York City, don't have any kids. Don't let any of these freaks are all over the place and they're being protected. That's the only conclusion I could be. They protect the freaks. Now, the guardian of the child that got raped, she's an activist in the LBGQ2IXYZXXYZ. And all of a sudden, all of the kids are one of them's transitioning, one of them's been raped, the other two boys don't think they're boys anymore, if you can understand what I'm meaning. So, under that definition, she's a groomer. And then now she's got a hold of her grandchildren, and they're in off-Broadway plays with other children, and Candy Boy runs down there all the time when his daughter's in the play. Oh, he sees a lot of young kids, a lot of young girls. Ooh, yeah. You catch what I'm saying here, people? And so far, we have two fathers that are irate about this. He hasn't touched my child, but he's touched the child that I know, who's a woman now, and he's touched another father's child. So this is what goes on in New York City. So what they need to do, all these judges that are there now that don't know how to handle a order of protection that they're supposed to be adhering on both sides, there's a possibility people lie under oath. I know certainly my estranged wife did it, and we caught her. She's going to pay the price for that, let me tell you. We got a special little event arranged for her. So, just like I'm telling you now, people, this is how they do things in New York. I'm watching and I'm learning. And most of you people know when I get my mind determined to do something, I get it done. And letting this guy who's running a scam, a Ponzi scam that targets single mothers, mostly of an ethnic persuasion, and continue to walk amongst other people's children, what do you think is going to happen? And on that, I'm out of here.